All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 407 Rangers. My bad for the technical difficulties. I'm trying to get the hang of this because I'm pretty much learning how to do this by myself while my equipment manager be going to work and things like that. So this was a good thing for me because now I'm kind of getting the hang of this. So now I'll be able to do a lot more of these with you more often. And also be on the lookout, guys, because I'm in the process of making a Yankees channel. So if you guys are interested in Yankees baseball, I will be doing a 407 Yankees channel. It will probably be uploaded next week. I'll probably do a pilot episode. I'm just waiting for a couple of more off-season moves to happen. I know Trent Grisham got the extension and things like that, but I need more updates and things like that for me to start that channel up because I already got the logo and all that ready to go. But if you guys are interested in baseball, like I said, next week I will be doing a 407 Yankees as part of the 407 sports channels and things like that. But today we're going to talk about the Vegas and Golden Knights game that they played on the road. I mean, the best way I can explain this game, it wasn't a horrible loss. It was like a good fight, but they didn't just pack one more punch. That's like the best way I can describe this game. Now, you guys know last season the Rangers happened to sweep the Golden Knights despite the interesting roller coaster slump of a season they had last year. They were able to beat the Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights were looking like a way better team than they are this year because Vegas has the most interesting situation this year. They have like a slow start, and they look nothing like we're used to seeing them play. Like especially after they just got Mitch Marner. Like you would have thought for a sec that like the Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel duo was going to be very very scary for anyone to deal with in the NHL, but I'll give it time. I mean, they just beat the Rangers, so we're not gonna sit and act like oh they're not good enough to go to the playoffs. I feel like if they get their system going and the rhythm together and they start to understand their roles a lot better, I would definitely watch out for Vegas still because they've been winning. They're still winning. They're not like a horrible team. They're still winning games. They're just losing a lot more than a lot of people expect. But we're also going to talk about what JT Miller said at the press conference because I know some people they probably feel like JT Miller isn't producing or doing as much, but the man had an assist last night. So I mean, we're not going to sit here and act like JT Miller hasn't been producing. There are some games where he looks literally like completely lost and lazy out there. That's totally understandable. I mean, last night he definitely still looked lost and lazy despite him getting an apple. And that's probably one of the biggest flaws with JT Miller right now. I honestly can say it's either three things. It's either he's just lazy, or he didn't do enough of a workout or training in the off season, or he's still dealing with the injury that he's not that we don't even know about. It could be either one of those three things as to why we're seeing JT Miller have a slow start. Because, mind you guys, this is the same guy that at one point, when he was in Vancouver, put up 100 points. So it ain't like, he's horrible. I know, like, last season, I believe he had like 37 goals with the Canucks and before he went to the Rangers and things like that. Now, the problem with JT Miller is he's not putting himself in a good enough position to shoot the puck into the net. And the past couple of seasons, his percentage was way more higher when he got into the net. But this year, it's like he does not have the opportunities like he once did when he was looking like a way better player. But we'll go ahead and talk about with what he said at the press conference, and then we'll do the team stats and things like that, so you guys can get an idea of how the Rangers pretty much lost. But we'll start off with what he said at the press conference because this I kind of liked from what I saw from JT Miller because it seemed like to me he took accountability, and that was the biggest problem last year and for the past couple of seasons with the New York Rangers is nobody didn't want to be held accountable. And the one thing I will give the Rangers credit this year, even though they've been having a weird like record at home and doing good on the road, even though they play bad, at least they take accountability. You guys know, like, the last time, when was the last time you saw Ranger players hold themselves accountable? Because that was our biggest pet peeve for this core. It was that nobody, every time there was like a bad game, nobody would hold themselves accountable. Coaches wouldn't hold players accountable. But what we're seeing is players are actually holding themselves accountable rather than the coach having to hold them accountable. So I give respect for the players acknowledging that they gotta do better. They're not at their best and they want to do more, and they're just as frustrated as we are when they lose games and things like that. So credit to the locker room for voicing themselves on that, out on them on that. But let's talk about what JT Miller said at the press conference. Pretty much said production is not coming easy. It's a handful of guys. It pisses me off when we're in one of these one goal games. It's disappointing because I want to do more. If I start chasing the game that way, it's going to turn ugly for me. So I got to make sure I stay the right way and just worry about my own game and try not to get too frustrated. But the fact of the matter is we've lost a lot of one goal games and I'm not producing. And that's from the words of JT Miller himself when he was pretty much talking with the media and things like that. So let's go ahead and talk about the team stats because once you hear these team stats, you're going to get an idea of how they lost. So the Rangers, as you know, they did not shoot the puck as much as the Golden Knights did. And that was definitely a reason why they couldn't gain as many goals. Because I feel like if they had shot at least like 5 more shots into the net, you probably would have got another goal. But we're not going to sit there and act like they didn't have a chance either because Brodzinski did score a second goal, but they called it offsides. And who knows, if he had not did the offsides and actually scored that goal, the Rangers would have actually tied and probably taken the Golden Knights to overtime. And I would have been way more better off with them getting a point rather than losing, and now they got no points. But anywho, Rangers had 19 shots, so that's a start. Then the Vegas Golden Knights had 26. So like Golden Knights already were out shooting the Rangers by a long shot. Now the crazy part about the face-offs, the New York Rangers managed to win more face-offs than the Golden Knights did by 4. So they had 27 wins and the Golden Knights had 23. Power play percentage, Vegas Golden Knights had 100%. They had 2 power play goals, which we're going to get to because honestly, if the Rangers had not drew those silly ass penalties, they would have actually probably beaten the Golden Knights because the 2 goals that the Golden Knights got was from the power play. And the penalty kill just wasn't at their best last night either. It was dog shit on both ends. From the penalty kill to the power play, just wasn't good on the Rangers' end. But the block shots was even at 17%. So it wasn't like the Rangers weren't playing horrible defense. They were actually playing pretty good defense as well. And they were a little more physical than the Golden Knights. They had 8 more hits than the Golden Knights did with 34. So they also had 5 takeaways. Golden Knights had 4. Now the problem was they both had the same amount of giveaways as well. So that was another factor. Too many giveaways for the New York Rangers, and that's what pretty much cost it in the game. But in the first period, at 11:14, this is where pretty much the circus starts for the Rangers because you guys know when they draw silly penalties, it's gonna bite them in the ass. Like it's just simply going to. Now sometimes it don't, but in this case, every silly penalty was biting them in the ass last night. But as y'all know, at 11:14, Panarin does the tripping call against Mitch Marner, so Vegas Golden Knights are in a power play situation. At 11:40, Braeden Bowman scores the wrist shot goal. Thomas Hertl and of course Mitch Marner with the assist on that play. And from there, you kind of like had the feeling that the Golden Knights were going to start off with the momentum before the Rangers did after that goal. And you knew like the Rangers were going to have to fight and claw their way back into this one. And unfortunately, Rangers didn't have no chances. They had a couple of danger zone chances, but Schmid was just. I don't know how Schmid outplayed Igor. That's another crazy part because we're gonna get to Igor Shesterkin soon. Even though Igor has been having a good couple of nights, last night was like a little unacceptable, man. Like his goalie percentage was probably the worst one he's had this season. But in the second period, you had Ben Hutton score himself a goal for the Golden Knights with the wrist shot. Pavel Dvoriev and Thomas Hertl in the assist as well at 3:23. But then the Rangers, they actually answered back with a goal of their own at 8:56 thanks to Jonny Brodzinski. He had scored the snapshot. Will Cooley was in the assist in that play as well. So Rangers were pretty much down to one goal. And at 12:36, Kadian Korziak had the tripping against Alexis Lafreniere. Rangers tried to execute something in their power play, but it didn't work out. It was just wolf shit, and unfortunately, if they had gotten the power play goal that play, they would have been tied, like I said. But in the third period, once again, Rangers drawing another silly penalty. Carson Soucy draws the interference against Cole Reinhardt. And from there, you already knew Vegas was in another power play. You saw them hit the power play goal at the first period, so you knew it was just a matter of time before they get this power play goal. And of course, they do. Shea Theodore hits the goal with the snapshot. Noah Hanfinen and Colton Sissons with the assist on that play. But the Rangers did try to answer back as they pulled Igor off the bench. Now, I was a little scared, I'm not going to lie, because I thought the Golden Knights were going to hit the dagger. But thankfully, with the extra attacker, it actually kind of helped them get back in the game. Because at 17-17, Vincent Trocheck, he hits the tip-in goal. Artemi Panarin with the assist. And that's when JT Miller had got the apple on that play. Now, they did pull Igor off the bench once again, but the Golden Knights were able to clear off the puck at the final seconds of the period. Rangers did have a couple of breakaway opportunities before that happened, but unfortunately, once Vegas cleared the puck out, you already knew. It was just over. Like, they had no chance of trying to shoot that puck. But Vegas pulls off the victory, 3-2. Now Rangers lose back-to-back games. And honestly, well, we'll talk about Igor's percentage because he had 3 goals allowed, 23 saves, and an 885 percentage, which was, like I said, a really low number for a guy like Igor this season. And then Akira Schmid had 2 goals allowed, 17 saves, and an 895 percentage. So obviously his stats wasn't as good either. He just played a little more better than Igor, and he just didn't allow one more goal. That was the only difference with him, honestly. But I'll give you guys my final thought here because, man, I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to probably be a very, tough situation for freaking New York Rangers because they have to face the Colorado Avalanche, and then they have to face the Utah Mammoth. And the Avalanche, you guys already know, they are just on fire. And they look like they are very mad at not even having an opportunity to win another Stanley Cup, even though they won one in 2022. Freaking Nate McKinnon, he's just sick of freaking not being able to get another cup, and I don't blame him because the Avalanche, they always build a roster to where you think they can have a shot at going to the Stanley Cup. And this might be the Rangers' biggest test because even though they beat the Edmonton Oilers, they've beaten a couple of good teams on the road. This is going to be the biggest test for the Rangers once again. Are you going to be able to keep up with the Avalanche? Because the Avalanche are, like I said, they're scary. And they do everything. They know how to forecheck. They skate fast. They are actually good on the power play and penalty kill. Goaltending has actually been way better than before. So the Avs, they are built to be Stanley Cup contenders this year. Because if the Oilers don't actually step their game up and get off this slow stump, I would definitely be on the lookout for the Avalanche because that team looks like they're not playing games this year. They're going to be out for lunch. And the Rangers are going to have to like learn to skate with their speed because if they can't skate or keep up with the Avs, they're going to be out for lunch with the New York Rangers. You guys already know how loaded of a roster the Avs are. You got Martin Necas, Nathan McKinnon, you got Cale Makar, then you got the freaking there's a whole bunch of other guys. Devin Taves, like the list goes on. The list just goes on, and they're gonna have to figure it out because if you get Cale Makar, McKinnon going alone, like it's gonna be a wrap for that team. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow for another late night game. I might most likely do it late night as well. But thank y'all for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. We're almost at 200 subscribers, so let's try to get to that 180. You guys already know the highlights are going to be on the way. I'm going to go ahead and get those clips going. And as always, y'all have a wonderful day. Let's go Rangers. Thank y'all for watching.